Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Mompreneur Cafe. And I hope you have your favorite beverage and you are in a relaxed position so we can share some wisdom with you as you listen to this. Today, we are talking about having the confidence to charge what you are worth. I know for me, that was one of my greatest challenges when I first started out as an entrepreneur back in 2012. And I was pretty much giving away everything for free. Well, not everything, because I had to pay for some marketing. But once my marketing expenses and office expenses were covered, I felt quite comfortable just settling for whatever customers were willing to pay. And I noticed over the years that there is always a customer or a client for the price that you charge. Now, I have with me today expert in business development, Mrs. Tanya Bartolini, and I will let her share just some of her expert insights on charging for what you're worth, especially if she has a story to share about some challenges she helps some of her clients overcome. And let's hear what she has to say.
Hi, Glow. As always,
Mm.
I'm so happy to be here and thank you for that lovely introduction. But, charging what you're worth is really a two bucket component, right? Because on the one hand, you have the mental and mindset that you have to work on to figure out what it's worth. And on the other hand, it's also a very logical calculation, right? And so you can't just use one or the other. You have to use them both together. And
Hmm.
it all depends on the value that you're giving as well, right? What is it worth to the person that you're giving it to? So it's really a lot of different things that you have to put into the equation. And I think most of us, especially women, even though I hate to generalize, tend to undervalue our services and
Hmm.
what we do because we think, oh, it's so easy. It'll only take me 5 minutes. Oh, it's so easy. It'll only take me whatever,
Hmm.
right? We don't stop and recognize our own talents, right? Not everybody can do what everybody else does. Like marketing comes naturally to you, it's easy for you. It's not easy for me, right? So when you look at it and you're like, oh, it's only going to take me 10 minutes to do it. And I look at it and I go, oh my God, it's going to take me like 20 hours just to figure out what I need to do and then start doing it.
Right.
Right? What's the value? Right? Is it your 10 minutes or is it all of your experience and studying and time and blood, sweat, tears, money that you've poured into yourself to learn this over the years so that it can take you 10 minutes? Right? We always tend to forget that. Um, so I had when I had my own law firm, I had a potential client call me up and say, hey, what does it cost to answer a question for me? And I gave her my hourly rate at the time. And I said, that's up to an hour. And she goes, but it's only going to take you 5 minutes to answer it. I know, I work with attorneys. And I said, well, if it's not easy, why can't you answer it? And why can't they answer it? Because that 5 minutes it takes me to answer it is because I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on schooling, plus all the years of experience and all of the work that I put in to be able to review it and give you the answer in 5 minutes. So you either pay my hourly rate or you're welcome to pay the hundreds of thousands of dollars and spend the time to figure out all of the things you need to know in order to answer the question.
So from a client's perspective or a potential customer, it all boils down to how much they value their time. I guess in a sense, their money as well. But looking at it from the customer standpoint, I don't think a lot of customers look at us business owners, like you said, in a way where they first think of how many years of schooling, the experience, and then the skill combined to provide that particular product or service. So as I'm helping folks, even in their marketing efforts and calculating how much to charge or how much they should pay for marketing, I always say, well, for example, nowadays, I feel like the websites have replaced business cards. So if someone comes to me and they say, well, I want a website, how much is it going to cost? And my first question is like, well, what do you want the website to do? Right? Isn't it just a platform to identify you as a business owner or identify your service? And even still, I look at building a website, and I tell people I am not a web developer. Okay. However, I use some handy tools, right, for marketing that includes a type of website template maybe you can use. So it all depends on the functionality of the website that we're using in this example, right? That they want when they come and ask me, well, how much to do this website, and I want a logo. So I'm thinking, well, if you're looking to put something up and get your name out and start telling people about your business and service, because again, for me, marketing is basically what you want people to know about you, right? The branding is what they believe about you. And I don't care how much money you spend on marketing, your brand is all you, okay? And if you don't have a personal brand and you just own the business, it's all on what people believe about you, whether you want them to or not. So if you're spending tons of marketing and you are doing crappy service, I don't care what your tagline says, the brand is going to be crap. When people see it coming, they're going to run the next way. So as a marketing professional, I try to help people understand, or business owners understand, that when we are pricing our services, it comes back to our confidence in what we believe encompassed with the message our service provides to the general public is what it's really valued. And in working with you, Tanya, I've learned that I way underprice my service. And many times, however, I've gained the confidence too, because just the effort I had to make to get the foundations of the business in a place where I'm not looking at just, okay, how much I'm going to pay for marketing and make it enough in the business to pay my bills or to where I'm comfortable, right? Because I know you're big on teaching people to build the business you want. So if you're trying to make 10 million, do that. If you're just trying to make, I don't know, 6 figures to pay some school fee and that's your comfort zone, do that. Because to us, wealth is defined by different things we accomplish in life. I mean, for me, it's having enough to give away a little and also provide for my family and leave a little legacy for my kids. How much that value is, I'll tell you later. That's what I define as well. You got health, got a little bit, and you could give some away. Okay, and good. But not to drift too far off of our main subject today, which is having that confidence to charge what we are worth. I see a lot of moms that I'm working with recently, they hire coaches and the coaches promise them a certain figure, right? And I ask them, like, what made you pay for that coach? Because The last time I hired a coach, I paid a little bit over $5,000 for 3 weeks. However, I made the most money I've ever made in my business, which was like 3 times what my comfort level was. And I didn't make it in spending more hours working at the office. Okay. I made it applying what that coach educated me on, implementing systems, hiring people, outsourcing certain things, delegating, right? And these were things like I didn't even think of. All I knew is I did really good work and clients loved me.
So that's a great point that you just brought up, because you're looking at it as a consumer from your return on investment, right? And so
Right.
when we're pricing our own services, we have to put ourselves in the position of the consumer and say, hey, what's the return on investment that they're going to be getting?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's one of the things that you have to analyze when you're looking to figure out what your service should be worth. Now, do not ever, 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 ever compete on price.
Mm.
That is the worst thing you can do, is compete on price. Never compete on price. Don't ever be the cheapest, because someone else will come in and undercut you, no matter what, right? So, but you still have to look and see, what are the market rates, right? What's the range that people are charging for the same type of product or the same type of service, right? That way you get a range of, okay, my prices should be, similar. That's not to say that you can't charge more, because you can offer more value. And so, yes, you can charge more, but at least it gives you what is the market handling at this time, right? Then you have to go into your own analysis of, what are your costs? What is the minimum that you can charge so that you break at least even?
Mm-hmm.
And we know we're never going there, because we're in business to make money, not to break even. If you're going to break even, you may as well not do it.
Right.
Right. So now you have the range of the market, you have your minimum so that you can cover your costs. And then you have to look at the consumer and what's their return on investment. Right. Because most of the time, we're bridging a gap. Right. So especially in the service industry, in the coaching industry, those types of industries, not products, what you're doing is really something that they could do for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
There's information all over, right? But it's going to take them a lot longer to learn it and do it themselves than it would be for you to teach it to them, right? So, like, for example, with my business course, there is nothing new in there. You can find all of the information online, right? You can figure out how to implement it yourself. You can go to college and get an MBA and probably get the same type of information. Then
Mm-hmm.
you need to figure out how to implement it, right? Through trial and error. So what I do is, instead of allowing you to do it in 10 years, right, to get the experience and to do all the trial and error and to read all the books and to piece it all together, right? You can get it all done in less than a year, sometimes in a couple of months, right? So that's what it is we're bridging that gap. We're allowing the implementation and all of those errors that we made to be taken out of your life, so that you can get to a better place much faster. So what is that worth? Right? And to
Right.
every service, it's different. Same thing with products.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can figure out the cost of a product. It's all logical, it's all calculations. But then what's the return on investment for the person who buys the product? What is it worth to them? Right? How much time is it going to save them? It's not always money. There's time. How much pleasure is it going to give them? How much pain are they going to avoid by using the product? Right? All of these things come into play because they're all value.
Right.
And so, you know, it's not easy to figure out how much to charge. It's not. But go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say too, for me, I noticed it had a lot to do with how I set boundaries. If I had the habit of allowing people to violate my boundaries, right? And I learned over the years that I'm more of that empath personality. If someone gives me like a really sad story, I'm like a little sucker for it. You know, I feel sorry for them. Oh my goodness, I really want to help you. And being in health and wellness background prior to marketing, it was like, how can I let them suffer, right? But at the end of the day, as a business owner, I had to learn to set boundaries, even on myself, right? And I think for a lot of, well, I can only speak for myself, but I learned also too, if I kept lying to myself and allowing my own boundaries to be violated, then it reflected on other habits that I developed that resulted in poor performance on a business level, right? Because if I'm not holding my boundaries, as far as if someone was my friend and I'm giving them not just a discount, but like walk in the door free service, right? Then it was like, wait a minute, I have to remember you're my friend. But and even now I still gauge how I have those conversations, especially in establishing new relationships, because we all have to prospect in a sense to get new clients, even if you're not at the forefront of your company, meaning like you're running the business and or you have staff, right? If you have staff, and it's funny, I got a call this morning, right? I kid you not. And someone said, oh, I'm so and so from XYZ office, and they'd like to give you some quotes. And I was like, great. I'm not in the market for giving quotes, but I have some referrals because it was a company that I'm already a current client for, but I was looking for a new agent because I don't have an agent. But I know the product is great. I've been a member for years. And the person on the phone says, no, I just need to get your information so I could get you a quote. I said, no worries. I'm already a member. Can I speak to the agent? Because I have referrals. This person fought me so hard on the phone until I really had to regroup and say, Glo, you have too many appointments this morning. You don't have time to go down this rabbit hole, right? But a part of me was a bit enraged, and I feel sorry for whoever this person is working for, because here I am, I'm being nice, polite, and kind. Hey, I'm not a prospect. I'm a source of referrals for you. And the person was just like, no, you know what, ma'am, have a nice day, and hung up on me. Hung up on me. And
Oh
I
my God.
feel like I just want to dedicate the rest of my day and look for this agent that has this person representing their company. Because again, this goes back to like branding and marketing. How much is this person paying you to prospect and represent their company? Okay. And this is, I'm saying I have a source of referrals for you. And this is, I mean, I just like, I mean, okay, let me get off that soapbox. But again, this is how important laying that right foundation and having confidence to be involved in the back and front end of your company. Because as the AI moving into our society and become more prevalent across all areas of our businesses, right? I know I could see why a lot of people are fearful of it. it enhances a lot of tools and features we use in business. And it also helps save time depending on what you're trying to accomplish. I mean, I've never seen something scrape data so fast. I love it. I love it, right? If you want metrics and performance of what's going on in your business, invest in certain tools and equipment. I have favorites, right? Like I like Microsoft. I'm working on having some deep studies involved, and I'm working on getting all of my future certifications in the Microsoft arena because security wise and all that, I really like it. I mean, and when it comes, I love my Excels. And again, I'm not expert in numbers, but this AI is like, oh my gosh, we can do this. Great tools, right? Great tools. But when you look at hiring people and encounter situations like what I just shared this morning, with this person being hostile with me, trying to give them more business, right? You think like, I really love systems and tools because I don't have to deal with humans. But the bottom line is AI can't replace humans, at least not at this point. And then when it gets to the point where it can replace humans, I think we all would have to be very concerned about a whole lot more than just technical tools for our business. But that's another podcast there. But it's just so much things we can share in these short conversations. It's really hard to stay on subject, especially for me. I got adult ADHD.
That's okay, because that actually does go into the return on investment, right? What is it? What's the value to your client? The easier you make it on them, the more valuable it is to them, right? So if you have something like that where it's really hard, well, the value to them is going to drop. No matter how much you charge, or even if it's free, they're probably going to say, no, I don't want your services anymore. It's too hard. Because now they're spending more time. It's aggravation, right? So those types of things really come into play when you're looking at the value that you're providing your clients and your customers. So if they have multiple ways of paying that they can just do one click, and now you saved them from having to jump through hoops, right? You're saving them time, you're saving them money, you're saving them energy, you're saving them aggravation. All of that has value. So those are all the things that you have to look at when pricing your products or services, right? So it's not an easy, oh, this is my cost, I'm going to put 20% profit on it and I'm going to sell it. Doesn't work that way anymore.
Well, I think I've encountered people who've just felt like they were just worth this price and that's it. And given the situation that I was in, I couldn't find anyone else to do it. So it's more like a supply and demand, right? But can you build a thriving business with that approach? Probably not. You probably do need to measure some of your I guess KPIs and all these different things you need to measure in order to price out how much you actually need to charge. And guys, if you're listening and you do not know how to do that, Tanya gives you a complimentary consultation to work out all those numbers. Because another thing too, I mean, when I talk about this confidence to run your business, right? The confidence to sit there and actually do it on your own. Sit there and write out, okay, so this month, if I need, for example, if you're building a YouTube channel, right? This is like the new get rich quick myth, I call it, for a lot of folks who think, you know what, I don't need a college degree anymore. I can just YouTube. You can, don't get me wrong, you absolutely can. But even for something like that, you need to sit down and how many videos I'm going to make in a day or a week, what tools I have, what resources am I paying for tools and support to help me with this? Am I going to do my video editing? Am I going to pay someone to do this editing? How much time is it going to take me to edit these videos, put tags, hashtags, taglines, all the funny stuff, thumbnails, all these things you need to do to get your video just to rank on YouTube nowadays, right? Target market research. Are you going to run ads? All this stuff, Tanya will take her time and help you sort through. I'm not like look over the shoulder type coaching. I'm a big fan of Tanya because I never had a business coach that was willing to look over my shoulder in a sense. And I'm not talking like she's not coming to your house, right? But you look at those numbers because for again, you know, I'm sure someone's listening who can relate to this. Like for me, I love marketing so much. I love when a client says, Glo, I want a book or I need this or whatever it is they're trying to do, whatever project, and it's nothing. And we have a conversation and then I see it come to life. I'm so engulfed in that world until you sit me down and you said, okay, let's get some metrics. This is like, oh my goodness, I need coffee. I need silence. I mean, I have to go into like almost like a trance state of mind to get in the right mood and everything just to sit there and iron out these fine details of, okay, so we need this much and we need that much. And this is why I rely on tools and hired help to do these things for me because I can get it done, yes, but it's not something I enjoy doing. So if you're doing work and you are making even cakes, whatever it is you're doing that you're passionate about, find those people, pay those experts, pay them to help you sort it out. Because in this information age is all about who we choose to listen to. And if you're a mom in business listening to this, there are local mom groups. If you can find local community connections with the mindset that's going to help you grow in your business. I mean, I guess, Tanya, we need to have another chat or conversation about this whole side of the mindset or getting around people who are going to poop on your business. Because I remember having a conversation with Tanya. I mean, it's aside from Glo, there are no reruns in life. Glo, don't let anyone poop on your business. No one is allowed to poop on your business. I was like, yeah, she's right. And this was in a time when I'm struggling, trying to come back from maternity leave, trying to figure out, okay, should I really be in business? Do I really need to be in business? What do I really want? Right? So all of these things was moments in my life and time when I felt like I need a reset. I need some rejuvenation. I just need help and support. And unfortunately, that help and support has to come from you. I know we want our spouses to do it, our kids to motivate us. One of the greatest lessons I learned in my business is I got to learn to motivate myself. And I had to take responsibility to find those people, pay those professionals, find those tools and resources to get myself a good kick in my butt, all right? To get my business off the ground, make it happen, no excuse. And I encourage all of you to do that. If you really want to have a business where you're balanced and you want to make sure you're leaving a legacy for your families, take responsibility, okay? And find and surround yourself with those people who can help you do that. Tanya is one of those coaches. She will help you do that, right? I remember, I know I'm going on so long here, but I remember I was going through my first divorce and I hired this attorney. And as soon as I walked in his office, he hit this little clock and he's like, okay. And he pulled out his notepad. He said, okay, how can I help you? And I was like, oh my goodness, man, I know you said it's so much per minute, but he was in play. And every time I went in that office, he'd hit that clock. And it was a bit intimidating and scary for me. So I went in his office with notes, like sticky pad and notes. I was like, okay, I need, and I had to hurry up, get my points across and make sure, because in the back of my mind, if he was charging $200 an hour, I need to make this a 15-minute conversation, get out of his. But I'm sure I could have gotten more value out of that relationship if I didn't feel so intimidated. But I learned that he respected his time and he had checks and bounds in place to make sure his clients respected his time, right? He wasn't rude. He was never rude. And he wasn't, I guess he did look a little bit intimidating, but he didn't look scary, right? But when I saw that clock, my heart was racing. I was like, well, get to the point quick, because I'm chatty, right? But I just think I'm grateful to have a business coach like Tanya, where I can really, connect in a way where I don't feel intimidated to be my real self and get the support I need. So,
well, you touched on a few points there. The first thing is never let anybody poop on your business. Okay. And here's one thing I learned from my coaches is don't ask people's opinions who didn't do it. Right? If your spouse works for someone else, do not ask them about how to run your business. They don't know. And our natural, go-to is fear, because our brains are wired to protect us from the unknown, right? So anytime you want advice about anything, go to someone who's been there, done that, right? Because that advice is going to be from experience and not from fear. So it's not that, our families or our friends don't want to support us. It's that if they haven't experienced it, they don't know how to support us, right? They're trying to protect us because they love us, and their brains are saying, danger, danger, it's unknown, right? So it's not their fault, but we have to know who to ask. And so finding that community of support, of people who are like-minded, of people who have been there, who've done that, who can help you maneuver through the unknown is essential. Having coaches is essential. That's how I got to learn everything that I've learned. I have coaches and I've had coaches and I've implemented what they've taught me. And that's how I became where I am, And so it's good to do that. But the other thing is there are so many that are not good or might not align with you. And so always do your research before you hire any coaches. Make sure that they're not going to poop on your business, right? Make sure that they're aligning with you and your vision. And then I forgot the third point that you made that I thought was really good too.
Well, you just made a good point too, just in hiring coaches, because again, it comes back to knowing your boundaries, having the confidence to know what you're worth, and experience versus skills. If you're hiring a coach and they have a degree in, I don't know, let's say they even have a doctorate degree in business, right? And they don't have no experience. I mean, a lot of college professors, unfortunately, teach subjects that they have the certificate and degree in, but no experience. And we all know that there's no like cookie cutter approach to business. You have all these different, just to do the business plan by itself, like things, I don't enjoy doing it, but I learned to do it. And it came from someone who was mentoring me in business. I was like, man, I want to sell my business. And, I got all these clients and here's my books, right? And then there was like, okay, where are your financials? Oh yeah, I have when I do my taxes, oh, no, not those. Like, let me see how many clients you see in a week, the numbers. And okay, so they're only seeing you. Oh, well, guess what? They love you. What happens if you get sick? And when you sell this business, all those clients go with you because you didn't really build a business. I built a good brand, like I was likable, right? But it wasn't really a brand I could sell, because I can't sell myself. I'm trying to like not do the work. But again, for business mentoring and getting started with business, people say, well, find something you love. Well, if you're listening to this, you can find something you love and find an aspect of that thing you love to build a business you can sell. Contact Tanya.
The one thing I forgot before was, and my dad used to always tell me, your friends and family should pay you more because they're supposed to support you and love you, right? So that's one thing. And, just, I'm not saying don't give people discounts that deserve it. Don't help people who might not be able to pay your full fees, right? But always make sure that they have skin in the game,
Yes.
right? Because people only value things that they have to pay for, whether it's money or bartering or time or commitment or something, right? So if you want to help people, you have to set those boundaries. You have to make sure that they have skin in the game and they're going to take advantage of your help and use it and not just waste your time because, oh, we're friends, right? So, and that's another thing, is just because you want to help someone does not mean that you don't know your value. But you just have to set those boundaries in a way that serve everyone, right? Especially yourself, because no one else is looking out for you.
Exactly.
That's
self-love, put the oxygen mask on yourself first, and then you'll be able to help others. It's like, hey, put the oxygen mask on your business so it can supply the needs to others. And it sounds crazy, but putting that oxygen mask on your business is doing that business plan and knowing your numbers and what your business is about, because you don't want to be blindsided by building, what they call it, they say putting the ladder on the wrong building.
Oh,
I forget how it goes. Like you had the ladder leaning on the wrong building. It's one of those things. I mean, a hard lesson for me, because I spent years in the business, and when I thought I had a business I could sell, it was a lesson. But hey, I learned how to market really well, and I saved a lot of money on marketing, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the journey, and again, accepting my past as that's what made me who I am today. And that's my unique value proposition when I work with folks, large and small companies I work with. And that's my unique value proposition. I have a diverse experience in failure and success. No, I haven't made my first million, but I'm on my way there.
Yes. And that's planning, failure to plan is planning to fail. And as long as you use your failures as learning lessons, they're really not failures. The only real failure is quitting. And with that, I gotta say goodbye.
Well, if you're listening to this, check out more episodes. I hope you found some good value here in what we shared. And again, we talked today about just having the confidence to charge what you're worth. If you need to talk to someone, my number is out there, 561-285-7515. And you have our emails, and you can find Tanya's contact here as well. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Until then, talk soon. Bye.